Welcome to the Amvios podcast, where we share actionable insights on web design, SEO, paid advertising, and AI automation. Each episode is focused on practical strategies you can apply immediately to build smarter systems, attract better traffic, and scale your business with confidence.
And today we're actually taking those concepts of automation and smarter systems and aiming them squarely at the foundation of the entire digital ecosystem.
Right, the code itself.
Exactly.
So we are doing a deep dive today into the landscape of AI coding assistants in 2026. And I have to be honest, looking at the market research this morning, overwhelming feels like a massive understatement.
Oh, yeah, it really is.
It seems like every single time I refresh my feed, there is some new tool promising to, write my entire SaaS platform while I'm asleep.
Right, which creates a tremendous amount of noise. And the real danger with that noise isn't just that it's annoying, it's paralysis. I mean, I see so many agency owners and developers who just end up sticking with outdated workflows simply because the mental cost of evaluating these new tools feels way too high.
Yeah, or they get the opposite right, the shiny object syndrome.
Exactly. They constantly switch contexts and never actually master any single workflow.
So our mission for this deep dive today is to really cut through that noise. We aren't going to just sit here and list features or read off technical spec sheets.
Nobody wants that.
No, nobody wants that. We're basing today's deep dive on a really fantastic comparative analysis from a creator named Toby Peaches. And this analysis breaks down the three massive players currently defining the 2026 coding space.
Right, which are Anti-Gravity, Claude Code, and Cursor.
Yes. And what I really love about this specific source material is how it avoids the trap of just comparing, token limits or processing speeds.
Yeah, that stuff gets outdated in a week anyway.
Exactly. Instead, it matches the tools to the psychology of the user. It's essentially a personality test for how you approach your work.
I love that framing because, we all code differently depending on the day, right?
Totally. Sometimes I'm in pure hacker mode. I'm just trying to ship a prototype by Friday.
Yeah, just get it out the door.
Right. But other times, I'm in architect mode, trying to build something that isn't going to just randomly break in 6 months.
Precisely. And the market has naturally segmented into three distinct philosophies to match those modes. You have speed, understanding, and control.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start with the philosophy that seems to be making the most noise right now.
The loud one.
Yeah, the one that promises to just take the work away entirely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity. It's a very intentional name, isn't it? It suggests lifting the heavy weight right off the user.
It does. And based on the breakdown we have, the name fits the core promise perfectly. The identity of this tool is defined by two words, automation and speed.
Speed.
Right. But, we've heard promises of speed for years now. How is anti-gravity actually different in practice today?
So the key mechanism here is what the source calls end-to-end handling. Most AI tools we've seen the past few years were really just fancy autocomplete.
Like predicting the next line of code.
Exactly. They predicted the next few lines. But anti-gravity changes the scope entirely. You aren't just asking for a snippet of code anymore.
You're giving it a whole task.
Right. You are giving it a task, and it attempts to handle the entire execution stack end to end.
So instead of me typing write a function for a submit button, I'm saying build me a landing page with a countdown timer.
Exactly that. And it handles the file creation, the linking, the CSS, the whole package. It's moving from mere assistance to actual delegation.
That brings us to the target user. The source material explicitly mentions that anti-gravity is built for people who, and I quote, don't want to think too much about details.
Now, that's a really provocative phrase.
It is.
In a traditional engineering context, saying you don't want to think about details sounds lazy or even dangerous.
Yeah, it sounds like a recipe for a broken app.
But we have to look at this through a business lens.
Right, because if I'm a founder testing a new marketing idea or I just need a microsite up to test an ad campaign by noon.
You don't care about the details.
I honestly don't care about the elegance of the div structure. I just want the result.
And that is a perfectly valid workflow. If your priority is moving fast and pushing a project forward immediately, anti-gravity is positioned as the power tool for that exact scenario.
It prioritizes the binary outcome. Is it live? Yes or no?
Right. It prioritizes that over the process of how it got built.
So it's less like having an assistant you have to train and more like hiring an outside agency.
That's the best analogy. Think about the difference between managing a junior intern versus hiring a specialized agency.
With the intern, it's exhausting.
It is. You're checking their work, you're correcting logic, you're explaining why the button needs to be blue instead of green. That takes massive mental energy.
Sometimes it genuinely feels easier to just do it yourself.
We've all been there. But anti-gravity positions itself as the agency. You just say, make the button blue and publish the page, and it handles the entire end-to-end process.
It removes the cognitive load.
It removes the cognitive load of the how, so you can focus entirely on the what.
But let's play devil's advocate here for a second. That implies a massive amount of trust. If I'm not thinking about the details, I'm essentially working with a black box.
That is the inherent trade-off.
Because I can't see what it did until it's already done.
Exactly. And if you are the type of person who needs to know exactly how the sausage is made, maybe for security compliance, or just because you have high personal standards for code quality, anti-gravity might actually stress you out.
Yeah, I could see that causing some serious anxiety.
But if you are the speed demon, if you measure your success by shipping features, then this tool feels, as Toby Teaches says, really powerful. It's all about removing friction between the idea and the deployment.
Okay, so that's the results choice. But let's flip the script. A huge portion of our audience deals with complex, mature systems.
Right.
If I'm trying to debug a weird database error, or I'm trying to understand a legacy code base I just inherited from another developer speed, is actually dangerous.
Highly dangerous.
I don't want a black box in that situation. I want absolute clarity.
Then you are definitely not looking for anti-gravity. You are shifting away from results and into the understanding mindset. And that brings us to the second big player in the breakdown.
Claude Code.
Claude Code.
Now, the source describes this one very differently. If anti-gravity is the race car driver, Claude Code is described more like a professor.
Or a senior engineer sitting right next to you at the desk, pair programming. The key differentiator here is thinking.
Thinking. That's a very human word to apply to a piece of software.
It is, but look at the specific functions highlighted in our notes. Claude Code is heavily focused on logic and refactoring. It helps you work through problems step by step.
That phrase, step by step, really stands out to me because anti-gravity is about jumping straight to the finish line. Claude Code sounds like it wants to hold your hand through the entire journey.
And not just hold your hand, but explain the scenery as you go. The source uses a really evocative phrase here. It says it feels like talking to a smart coding partner.
Wow.
Yeah, it explains things clearly instead of rushing.
Instead of rushing, in a tech culture that is absolutely obsessed with velocity, that feels almost counterintuitive, why would a tool market itself as being slower?
Because speed without clarity creates technical debt. Imagine you've inherited a messy code base. Spaghetti code, weird variable names, absolutely no comments.
A nightmare.
Total nightmare. If you throw anti-gravity at that, it might just add more spaghetti on top to get a quick fix. It builds a faster mess.
Right. It solves the immediate problem, but makes the underlying foundation weaker. And then 6 months later, the whole thing collapses.
Exactly. Claude Code is designed to act as a thought partner to untangle that mess. It's for the aha moment.
Okay, see.
When you are stuck on a complex logic problem, or you're trying to implement a new algorithm that you don't quite grasp yet, you don't want the AI to just paste the final answer into your file.
No, because then I still don't know how it works.
Right. You want it to walk you through the logic so you understand why the solution works.
So it's acting as cognitive scaffolding. It's helping me build the mental model of the code inside my own head.
Yes. It's for the user who values sustainability. If you use Claude Code, you are prioritizing the maintainability of your system. You want to ensure that down the road, you actually understand the architecture you created.
It's almost like Claude Code is the tool for the student mindset. And I don't mean a university student, but the lifelong learner.
It is for anyone who refuses to treat their software as a magic trick. If you want to refine, refactor, and deeply understand the architecture, Claude Code is the logic choice.
Okay, so we have the speed demon with anti-gravity, where we delegate the work to get fast results.
Right.
We have the thought partner with Claude Code, where we discuss the work to get clarity. But there was a third category in this breakdown.
The hands-on craftsman.
Let's talk about Cursor, because I think this one appeals to the purists out there listening to this.
Definitely. Now, Cursor is fascinating because it fundamentally changes the interface itself.
How so?
Well, the other tools, even if they integrate into your IDEs, often feel like external agents. You are chatting with them in a side panel.
Right, like a separate conversation window.
Cursor is different. It is a code editor with AI built directly into it from the ground up.
That sounds like a subtle distinction. An extension versus a native editor. But the source suggests It changes the actual workflow entirely.
It shifts the center of gravity. With the other tools, you feel like you're interacting with the AI. With Cursor, the source explicitly says it feels very hands-on. You are still the one writing the code.
Okay, so I'm still driving the car.
You are firmly in the driver's seat. But you have a superpowered navigation system and a mechanic in the passenger seat who can reach over and tighten a bolt while the car is moving.
I really like that image. The source mentions that the AI helps you edit, refactor, and explore the code base right inside the editor.
Explore is a great word there. It implies navigation rather than just generation. It implies that you are the protagonist. With anti-gravity, the AI is the protagonist.
Yeah.
With Cursor, the AI is the exoskeleton suit you're wearing.
And the key word here has to be control.
Absolutely. Control is the defining trait of the Cursor user.
Because let's be honest, for some developers, handing over control to an AI like anti-gravity is just terrifying.
It can be. If you are meticulous, if you have a very specific coding style, strict linting rules, or if you just genuinely enjoy the craft of writing code, you don't want to fully hand things over.
Right. I don't want the robot to paint the entire picture for me. I want the robot to mix the paints and hand me the right brush exactly when I need it.
That's it. Cursor preserves your agency. It's designed for the developer who wants AI support because they don't want to type every single character manually,
Right.
but they want that support to happen on their terms.
Right, where their cursor's blinking.
Hence the name.
It eliminates the friction of context switching. You aren't tab switching over to a chat window to ask a question and then copy and pasting the answer back into your file. It just flows.
It creates a flow state. And for complex development where you need to keep a massive mental model of the project in your head at all times, that flow is invaluable.
So looking at these three, they almost map to different stages of a career, or maybe just different moods on a Tuesday.
I think it's more about the specific friction point you're facing at that exact moment.
So let's try to synthesize this for the listener. We've got these three big players in 2026. How do you actually choose? Let's recap the easy way to choose from our source material.
Sure. Let's break it down into 3 scenarios. Scenario A, you have a client deadline in 48 hours. The project is standard, maybe a dashboard or a simple marketing site, and you are drowning in tasks. You just want it done.
That's anti-gravity, the results choice. You act as the project manager.
Scenario B, you are stuck. You're confused. Or you're dealing with something complex where logic is far more important than raw speed. You need an explanation, not just a patch.
That's Claude Code, the logic choice. You act as the student or the architect.
And scenario C, you are in the flow. You are building something precise. You want to write the code, but you want a power tool that keeps you moving fast without taking the wheel away from you.
That's Cursor, the control choice. You act as the craftsman.
And you know what's fascinating here is that none of these are objectively better in a vacuum. It's not that anti-gravity is better than Cursor. It's that they solve fundamentally different problems.
It reminds me of building a house. Sometimes you need a bulldozer to clear the lot fast. That's anti-gravity.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need an architect to sit down and meticulously check the blueprints. That's Claude Code.
Right?
And sometimes you need a really good set of power tools because you want to build the custom cabinets yourself.
Yeah.
That's Cursor.
That is a perfect analogy, and the massive mistake people make is trying to use the bulldozer to build the cabinets.
Oh, man.
That's when you get messy, broken code. Or they try using the architect to clear the empty lot. That's when you move way too slow and miss your deadline.
So for the listener, the key here is self-awareness. Don't just choose the tool that has the most hype on social media this week. Choose the tool that matches your current mindset.
Exactly. Are you in manager mode, student mode, or craftsman mode?
And I think that's crucial for our audience, especially those focusing on scaling businesses.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be the manager. You need to stop hand coding and start shipping. Anti-gravity allows that. But if you do that forever, you might lose touch with your own product.
Which brings up a really interesting tension in this whole landscape.
Yeah, let's go there. Because we talk about automation all the time on this show as a net positive. But is there a downside to having these powerful options?
Well, consider the contrast we just drew between anti-gravity and Claude Code. Anti-gravity is explicitly designed so you, as the user, don't want to think too much about details.
Right. Ignorance is speed.
Sure. But Claude Code is designed to make you think more clearly. It prioritizes logic and understanding.
So one tool is asking us to basically disengage our brain,
Yeah.
and the other is asking us to engage it more deeply.
Exactly. And this raises a profound question for everyone listening today, regardless of which tool they end up picking. If we lean too heavily on tools like anti-gravity, if we delegate the thinking about details entirely to the AI year after year, what happens to our own ability to understand the systems we're building?
That's the atrophy argument. If I never lift a heavy weight, my muscles get weak.
Yeah.
If I never debug a complex loop, because anti-gravity does it for me in 2 seconds, do I forget how loops actually work?
Or do you just lose the intuition for when the AI is wrong? Because remember, Claude Code tries to teach you the logic. Anti-gravity tries to replace the need for you to know the logic.
That is a scary thought. It's like using GPS. I used to know how to get everywhere in my city by heart. Now if the GPS dies, I'm lost 3 blocks from my house.
Right. And in software development, being lost isn't just an inconvenience. It can mean critical security vulnerabilities you can't spot.
Oh, yeah.
It means unscalable architecture that collapses under heavy load. Or it simply means you are held hostage by the tool because you no longer speak the language of your own product.
That's terrifying for a business owner. If you can't audit the work, you don't really own the work.
Correct. So while efficiency is always the goal in business, we have to ask ourselves, where is the line between efficiency and atrophy?
That is a massive question to chew on. So what's the solution here? Is it just avoiding the extreme automation tools?
No, I don't think we can put the genie back in the bottle, nor should we want to. I think the winning strategy is maintaining a balanced diet of AI tools.
A balanced diet. I really like that.
Use Claude Code to keep your mental muscles sharp. Use it to learn and verify complex logic. Then use anti-gravity to get the boring, standard boilerplate stuff out of the way fast. And use Cursor to keep your hands in the game for the custom work.
So outsource the keystrokes, but never outsource the comprehension.
That's the key. That is exactly it.
Like the landscape in 2026 is incredible. We have options that we couldn't have even dreamed of just a few years ago. Whether you choose automation, clarification, or integration, the fact that we have these choices is a superpower.
It really is. The barrier to entry for building amazing things has never been lower, but at the exact same time, the requirement for clarity, for knowing exactly what you want to build, has never been higher.
So here is my challenge to you, the listener. Don't just pick one tool and stick with it out of habit, or because it's what you used last year. This week, try to identify your specific friction point on your current project.
Ask yourself, are you moving too slow? Are you confused by a persistent bug? Or do you feel like you're constantly fighting your editor?
Identify that friction, and then pick the specific tool, anti-gravity, Claude, or Cursor, that solves that specific problem. Treat them as a flexible toolkit, not a religion.
Experiment with the workflow. See which coding personality you actually identify with most today.
And let us know how it goes. We'd love to hear how you are stacking these tools in your own agency.
That's a wrap for this deep dive.
Thank you for listening to the Onveos podcast. Go build something smart, go build something fast, but most importantly,
Make sure you understand what you built.
see you in the next one.